A friend of mine was a model on Live Jasmine. I saw her do it, and I thought to myself, this seems fun. Obviously, I saw the financial benefits that she was getting, and I just thought, why not? I can try it.
And how long ago was that?
That was a year ago, and that's about when I started as well.
Okay, very good. So you've been on Jasmine for a year now.
Yes,
What are your thoughts so far in the industry? Is there anything that surprises you that you thought it was different before you actually experienced it?
absolutely. I think the ideas around the industry are everything is just about the sexual part, and that's so far from the truth. A lot of the members, if not all of them, are looking for a connection with a model. They want a friend, they want someone to just have conversations with a lot of time, and yes, fulfill their physical needs as well. But that's not the biggest part. It's so much more. Being a cam model, it's so much more than just fulfilling, as I said, the physical needs. It's about conversating with them, listening to whatever they want to say, their problems, almost as if you are, I could say, even a therapist in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a misconception that most of society has, unless you're somehow involved in the industry as a model, a member, or working for one of the platforms. um, you realize that, and you know more than me because you have this direct connection with the members, but it really seems like the members, even more than the sexual part, I think that's what maybe brings them, but they stay for this connection and relationship that seems to develop.
Absolutely, because if it's just a sexual part, you can get that in many forms anywhere else. However, here you get to meet a model that you can build a relationship with. It's not just getting those needs fulfilled. You go further and it feels more personal. And I think this is the experience everyone is looking for, something intimate, tailored to their needs, and yeah, that they can relate to.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great insight for your, first year in the industry. What were you doing before?
I was working in an office as a manager, and to be fair, the reason I joined this was I was just not happy with not having freedom, always depending on a salary. The thing is, I was doing all this work and I was putting more work into it and not getting paid anymore. However, the benefit of being a cam model is your your money is directly proportional to the work that you put in. So it feels very rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Are you still working to meet or match the salary you were at before? Have you already passed it?
Already past it. And the opportunities are limitless, really. That's the best part.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I recently had an interview with a model who became a millionaire from Jasmine.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Well,
for quite
not
a
not
few
there
models.
yet, but
But the possibility is there. There are quite a few models who are Jasmine millionaires. And you're absolutely right. The possibilities are just endless.
yes, it's definitely not an easy job. Millions don't come in just like that, just by being in front of the camera. You have to work and you have to have a certain set of skills, but you can develop them easily, especially with just being online.
What would you say you like the most about your career on Jasmine so far?
It's fun. It's fun. It doesn't feel like work because you get to just speak with people, interact with a lot of different people from all over the world. And it feels entertaining because I am being an entertainer and I can offer this to the members. Um, and I never wake up and I think, oh, I have to go to work. It's not. That feeling is gone, which is something that I know a lot of models have felt before. If they had a job, a normal 9 to 5, they've definitely felt the dread of it, not being able to book holidays because you always need it at work. In here, you make your own schedule, and that's brilliant.
Absolutely. I like how you said too, you're an entertainer and you love to entertain. And I think that models that are natural performers or really like that component are, you know, some of the models that do the best. Has your perspective or outlook about life changed at all since joining Jasmin?
Yes, I realized I used to take human connection for granted because a lot of the members, because they want to make a connection with a model, it's due to the fact that maybe in real life, for whatever reason, they can't, they don't have time, they've gone through some sort of experiences that are just blocking them from doing this. And yeah, being able to speak with people on a daily basis as a model outside of work, you take that for granted, absolutely.
That's a really, really good point. And I think, you know, even myself during COVID, when everything like initially shut down and everyone was just like locked in their house, I realized how much like human interaction I had been taking for granted too. Just
Mhm.
like even simple things, you know, and I know that some of the members on Jasmine, some of them, yeah, like have serious things going on in their life that prevent them from having certain connections with people, whether it's a disability or they just went through something like a divorce or something really hard.
Mhm.
And they're needing that interaction and connection that you're providing. And that's a really useful insight for you to see like, wow, there are people in the world that are needing connection so badly because it's not just readily available to them. And it makes you appreciate all of the connections that you have in your life.
Absolutely. And I think the members appreciate this as well because they have the choice to stay anonymous until they're ready to show their face, their voice. But in real life, when you have to go and speak to a person face to face, you get shy, you get nervous. But behind the screen, that's so much easier. So that takes away the barrier and just creates a good environment to make a connection with someone.
Yeah, that's another really interesting point. Do you feel like the fact that the members can reveal themselves, so to speak, on their own terms helps them feel more open and vulnerable and safe?
Absolutely, yes. Yes, because some of them might be dealing with, they might be self-conscious about their appearance. Not that it's needed, but it's human to feel this way. Even us models, we do it, but we just show more confidence because we're always on screen. But it's human nature to do that. And being able to ease into the relationship first, because I get to know their mind, their brain, their personality first, not the looks. Those are last and they're not important. So yes, definitely they feel safer.
Yeah. Do you have members who have confided in you about things that might be secret or very private?
Absolutely. I think almost all of them. Because it feels like they almost come here and if you just tell them go, they're ready to tell you due to this to being anonymous. And there's maybe things that they can't say to anyone close to them because they feel shy or maybe embarrassed. But we don't judge, or most models don't judge. That's not part of our job. It's not even a job, it's just our personality. We want to listen to them, we want to get to know them. And if they chose us to confide in us, then we can just be grateful and listen.
I like how you said it's not our job to judge because, you know, I think just as human beings, we're all looking for safe places in life where we don't think or feel that we'll be judged and we can
Mhm.
express freely. and it's not something that is super available for everyone. And so to be providing someone with that safe space is a true service. I want to ask you, what do you, from your experience and perspective, what do you see as your main job, so to speak, for the member?
Very good question. I think I'll stick with what I said earlier, to not judge. I have a personal motto, which I oftentimes share with the members. We don't shame here, even when it comes to kinks and fantasies. There's no shaming as long as it doesn't hurt anyone, which is an important factor. It's not my place to judge what makes you excited, what gives you pleasure. And I think finding someone that understands this is so important, because I've heard stories of people being judged by their partners for saying, oh, I think I like this, or oh, I think I want to try this. And that's what makes them shut down. And then they seek our connection, because we understand, we work in the industry, we've seen it all.
What percentage of your members would you say has come to you because they have a fantasy that they shared with a partner and that partner completely shut them down?
85% at least. Yeah, definitely. It's very common, even just not being able to say it at all to their partners, or being single and trying to find someone to accept it. And sometimes it's not even something very unusual. And that makes me sad, because we shouldn't be judging each other by something that is so basic for a human. Intimacy, even exactly, it's not even about kinks or fantasy. Sometimes it's just intimacy that's missing.
Give me
Yeah.
an example, like, give me an example of when you've realized, oh, okay, this person is just needing intimacy. Like, how are you able to pick up on that?
It's definitely in the way they talk, the way they seek your company, and sometimes even the way they choose to use their money and their credits. Because if they take you into a private session and they just say, you can sit on the bed and relax and we can just talk, they just need a friend, they just need company. I've had members, one incredible member that just took me into a private session, and I know that day I went shopping and I got lots of lingerie, and I was just telling my members about it. I was showing them, and he took me private and said, I want you to try every single piece for me. Tell me which one you like. Just have fun. And that's amazing. That's part of the fun. It's something that I'm thinking maybe would happen with your girlfriend. She goes shopping, she comes back home. So you are giving them that girlfriend experience.
Absolutely. I'm curious because I feel like what you just said is you can tell by certain things they say that cue you into knowing what this person is really needing, like at the bottom line. He's like,
Mhm.
try on the lingerie, but you're knowing he's just needing connection. Do you feel like this job has helped you be able to read people better? Or do you think you've always had this skill of being able to kind of pinpoint what someone's needing?
I think I've been fortunate enough to have the skill beforehand, but it's definitely improved,
Mhm.
because I don't think ever in my life have I spoken with so many people in such a short period of time. And they are different people. So in real life, you find your circle and everyone shares the same mentality, probably, because that's how you choose your friends. But here, everyone is different. They come from different backgrounds, different countries. That's a whole other culture. So yes, you definitely improve your social skills by being a cam model.
I know that's true. I always think about that. I'm like, the thing that to me is so clear about models and some of my favorite things about models is I think you guys are incredible conversationalists. You essentially have people that are paying you to talk to them. Like that, you have to be interesting and I don't think people understand how smart you have to be to have people want to pay you just to talk to them and to entertain them. And, like it's a true specialty skill.
I like to break this stereotype. There's some members sometimes that say, "Oh, you seem a bit too smart to work here," which I don't know. It's a compliment, but it's also an insult in itself for the industry. But then again, I can't blame people for believing what they hear. And I'm here to change their mind. So I I think a lot of my members stay with me after hearing my conversations in free chat. Of course, I perform in free chat like every other model, but I also like to talk a lot. I talk a lot. And I think my English skills are also good in this situation. Um, but it's not that important because even if you are a model doesn't speak English that well, you definitely learn more by being online. And the members are quite understanding. I've never had anyone to say, "Oh, you don't talk well enough." They don't care about that. Some even find it cute, a quirky accent. Um, but yes, definitely, there's a lot of members who might think just the wrong thing about the industry models. And I want all the models, all the women here, I want them to prove that you can be pretty, but you can also be smart. They don't exclude each other.
I love what you said. You can absolutely be smart and pretty. That is, you bring up a great point. It is fascinating that in this day and age, the moment someone sees someone who is extremely beautiful, usually a woman,
Mhm.
they seem to just assume that she's not quite as smart. That is not the truth at all, or the case. I'm not sure where that outdated stereotype comes from. I don't know what that is.
It's outdated, as you say. It is
Yeah.
outdated, especially when the woman is in touch with her sexuality. They oftentimes tend to associate that with not having any other skills. But that's so not true. So not true.
It's fascinating. Yeah, even women like Marilyn Monroe, she was actually incredibly smart and a very smart businesswoman, but people only saw her in this role of like her role she played as an actress, which was this like
Mhm.
high pitched voice and beautiful blonde, and and they just thought she was dumb, but she was actually extremely intelligent. No,
But
please.
that's the beauty, sorry, of being a cam model. They might have this opinion, but then they get to know you if they allow you to demonstrate, of course. And one by one, you change their ideas.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And that is the beauty of, like you said, being a cam model as opposed to a traditional actress. Like if you're just acting, then people only see the role. But when you're a model, you are performing and a real friendship and relationship also develops. And so people do get glimpses into who you are for sure.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like you have learned more about yourself sexually or as a woman since being on Jasmin?
Absolutely. Sexually, I've discovered things that I like that I never even thought about, but that's through the members introducing me to new things. I think that's very important. Um, I am embracing my body more. As women, we tend to always scrutinize ourselves because of the beauty standard that society has set for us. So we feel like, "Oh, I'm not thin enough or my chest is not big enough." However, being a cam model really told me, I knew this before, but solidified the idea that everyone has a different taste. And men don't want just that one image that we are set to think that's the beauty standard. You can't be everyone's cup of tea, but definitely there is a wide audience for every single type of woman.
Absolutely. And that's why I always like, whenever I talk to models, I always let them know, there are 8 billion people on this in this world. I think Jasmin has 50 million users a day. And you are going to find a member who is only obsessed with you and likes exactly what you have going on. It's so interesting because you've been in the industry for a year. It's relatively new, but you have such a strong grasp of the industry, I can tell. And it's bigger purpose.
I enjoy doing this. I really like it. The members can see my enjoyment as well, and that's why they stay, because there is no faking here. You are on cam as you are. You can't edit anything, it's not pre-recorded. So if you love being an entertainer, then this is a perfect job. I don't know how the industry will change in a couple of years, so I can't predict if this is a long-term career, but for now it works very well.
Do your friends and family know what you're doing?
Yes, the majority of them.
Do you feel like there's still stigma around it? How is it in England? Is it still really stigmatized? Is it loosening up?
Um, so let's say half of my friendships are from Romania and half are from England. In England, I think it's more, people are more vocal about it. The girls from here do it as well, but they can admit that they do it. In Romania, which a lot of cam models and live Jasmines are from, a lot of people do it, but you can't talk about it. It's very stigmatized in there. But luckily, when I talked to my friends, or when I first explained it, obviously they had their ideas, but then I told them about it, and I say, "Oh no, I had this super funny private, and we just we had food. I ordered takeaway, and we ate together, and that's it." And they tell me, "That's it?" Well, yes. Someone wanted company. Someone wanted someone for dinner, and that's it. It's obviously sexual parts as well, and you have to be open to it. But there's other categories on that, Jasmine, where you don't have to be nude. So definitely, people just don't know about that. They hear a name and they associate it with one thing only.
There's so many different dynamics at play. I've also interviewed Harvard professors and human connection experts and sexologists, and there is real healing that is happening to members with trauma when they're camming. I mean, there is science around the neurological benefits. And a lot of times, what one expert told me is a lot of times members who are choosing to use something like Live Jasmine, a lot of them have had trauma around being seen and heard in their life. And so they're finding a platform and a place where being seen and heard is guaranteed almost. And
Yes,
the expert is like, that literally starts to rewire things in their brain and to help heal certain traumas. And so it's like, and part of what even gets them in a space of being able to heal is this vulnerability that anything that's sexual, it almost forces a degree of vulnerability. Think about it. Even if you are on a date and you bring someone back to your home, just the act of getting naked is a certain degree of vulnerability with this person now,
absolutely.
right? And so when you have this social sexual component of them sharing their deepest sexual fantasy, it just creates an instant layer of trust that they don't have with other people, which allows them to work on and heal things that they don't even know they're healing or working on. Part of our mission at Live Jasmin is to help educate. And through these interviews, this is one of the goals of these interviews, is to help educate people on the fact that this is so much more than just sexual content. There's a huge difference between camming and something like porn.
Mhm.
I think people just assume that camming is just porn, and it's not. Not that we're judging porn or saying there's anything wrong with it, but it is true that there is
Absolutely.
a difference, a big difference.
That's what I always say to the members, or even with the members, they agree. If they were looking for just porn, there's other platforms that offer it, and it'll be easy. They don't even have to pay for it. But people come here for a reason, and sometimes they know that, sometimes they don't. And I'm fascinated with the human brain and how it works and why they make different choices. But in the end, they came here, and all I can do as a host is offer them the best experience that I can possibly give them.
And that's a beautiful perspective and way to see it. There is still stigma. I'm curious, does it affect you at all, or how do you deal with it?
Mm, maybe it did in the beginning. if I think about it, um, even when the outside world doesn't know what you do as a cam model, they don't know you are a cam model, but you still feel very seen. But then streaming every day with hundreds of people watching you, you understand and seeing that all these members, they don't judge you. I mean, they're here. How could they? It just normalizes it in my environment. And then I can normalize it somewhere else. Because as I said, it's natural. All these needs, they're natural. I've had members who were suicidal, but being listened to, that changed the entire thing. Yes, you can go to a therapist and it's advised to, but sometimes they just don't understand you the way someone else would, because a therapist will take notes and will overanalyze, but I'm just listening. And whilst the therapist is good because they can give you the guidance they need, you also just need a little moment with someone, one-to-one, judgment-free, that will just listen.
Yeah, I think we all need that. You're absolutely right, though. We've talked about some of the positive aspects of the industry, but I want to know from your perspective and experience, what have been some of the challenges of your career on Jasmin or this industry as a whole?
Challenges, they've been very personal. So I could say accepting my body because it's so much on display. You are, as you said earlier, vulnerable. Um, and because of all the things that we are supposed to think about, what our body should look like, the members are very, very nice and they're very accommodating and they compliment all of us so much. It's lovely. It's definitely a confidence boost. But until you work for a couple months, you still think, oh, this doesn't look good. And at first, I would change my outfit about 10 times a shift just because I was like, oh, this is a bit too tight here. It doesn't look good. But they don't care about that, especially men. They don't really notice that. It's all in our minds. So I'm saying this more for the other models watching or girls that want to start. Definitely, it's all in our minds. What matters is the energy that you give them and the experience itself.
Going to the point that you mentioned to start with, which is that sometimes feeling comfortable in your own body is a challenge and seeing things that that the members in these men are not seeing. Um, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Eat, Pray, Love.
Yes.
There's that scene where the main character is talking to her friend in Italy, and the friend doesn't want to eat the pizza because she was like, "Oh, I don't want to gain weight." And the main character was like, let me ask you something. In all your years of dating men, has a man ever kicked you out of the bed? Has he ever told you that you don't look good and to please leave? She's like, no. And it's like, it's so true because men are, when they see a naked woman, I'm sorry, but it's just
You
like,
just lose.
it's like the joy of their existence, like the greatest art that could ever be, right? And for us, we're thinking about every little detail on our body, and them, they're just seeing a goddess, you know?
Okay. My members tell me off all the time if I say I've skipped a meal, if I didn't have breakfast, if I ever dare talk about changing anything, surgery, plastic surgery, they tell me off. They don't need that. They can appreciate beauty. So if someone has work done, they definitely appreciate it. We all appreciate a beautifully polished appearance. Um, but yeah, if they're with me as I am now, they like it and they'll tell me off if I said I'm trying to lose weight. No, you shouldn't. Shut up. And that's great because you get this reassurance from them.
Has your confidence gone up since being on Jasmin in a significant way?
Through the roof. Absolutely. I was a confident person before. Um, but that's probably because in the streets I don't have to take my clothes off, so it's easier to be like this. But yeah, definitely seeing all the compliments, hearing people enjoy looking at you, that just makes you feel so much better. So as a woman, this is an amazing job because women inherently we are beautiful creatures. We are feminine. And this is the most important part. A lot of jobs put us women in a very masculine energy. And then we just can't keep our femininity. But that's what men like. We can appreciate an independent woman, which is what cam models are actually. But still, this allows us to be the women that we want to be, which might not be for everyone, but definitely it helps to keep this divine energy to yourself. As you said, as a goddess.
Absolutely. And you really hit the head on the nail where it's true. Many jobs kind of put women in their masculine energy. But yeah, when you're in a position where you can still be feminine and you're getting paid,
Exactly. There's
divine.
still hustling here. Definitely, we are still hustling. There's many hours involved. I'm not trying to sell a dream. It's not as strenuous as physical work,
Yeah.
which is more suitable for men. But as you said, I get to just frolic around in dresses, lingerie, makeup, and I get appreciated for it. And this is the living that I make. Plus the intimacy and connection side, obviously. Um, but yes, men appreciate seeing a woman that is put together, brains and beauty, and that's a lot of the models. You just got to get to know them.
Yeah. Very well said. I'm
Mhm.
curious if there's anything about the industry or Live Jasmine that we didn't talk about, but that you want to share.
I just want to give advice to anyone that wants to start or any model that's currently watching this and just needs a little big sister advice. Be authentic. That's the most important. It's so simple and it's the most important thing. You might look at a model that is successful and think, oh, she's doing all of this. This is what I need to do because obviously she's successful with it. But members can see if you're not being authentic. They can see, and they don't want to create a connection with a fake persona. They don't want to feel like they're talking to a robot. They want to know the real you.
I've loved this interview. I like to end the interviews with one final question, which is what is something you're the most grateful for in your life right now?
I know the question is not specifically relating to Live Jasmine. However, my answer will be, and that's the freedom that I got from this job. Not just a freedom as in free time, but being able to slow down, being able to take time for self-care, which is so important. Self-care mentally, even physically, things that I wasn't able to do with the other jobs because I was always in a rush. Wake up, go to work, come back, have no time for anything. But now, making my own schedule and enjoying work, I don't feel stressed. You get daily stress, that's normal, but it's so much better. I take time to stop and smell the roses, how they say. And that's what I'm grateful for. And that's all because of the members.
I love that. Beautiful answer. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. And thank you for the opportunity. Absolutely loved it. And I love talking about it. And you're a great host, by the way.
Oh, thank you.